see the children are. An Adolf Mignot film, Wife Beware, was the first film shown. The idea caught on quickly, and drive-ins began to pop up in other areas too. By the late 1950s, approximately 4,000 drive-ins had dotted the United States. According to the newswheel.com, New York, Pennsylvania, and Ohio have the best opportunity for movie viewing under the stars. Long Island, New York was once home to one of the largest drive-in theaters. The drive-in covered over 29 acres and could park 2,500 vehicles. It also hosted a full-service restaurant with rooftop seating, a trolley system to take children and adults to the playground, and a large indoor theater in case of bad weather. However, the invention of colored television, VCRs, and video rentals, along with the increase in land values and the widespread adoption of daylight savings time, led to a sharp decline in the drive-in popularity. For a comprehensive list of drive-in theaters still in operation today, visit driveinmovie.com for locations by each state. And look in the description box below, and I'll post a link to this page. How to observe National Drive-In Movie Day. Get a carload of friends and head to the drive-in. It's movie time, and you can also explore drive-in movie history. Share your drive-in movie memories with us. And what was your first drive-in movie? Do you remember? And what was the last drive-in movie you saw? Give a shout out to the drive-in movie theaters near you, and use hashtag drive-in movie day to post on social media. Anyways, I have a couple stories that, yes, I've shared before, but I always love sharing again. The drive-in movie theater we had growing up as a kid was the Simi Valley Drive-In, and I somewhat can halfway remember what may have been my last movie there, because it was like a twofold event night. That was the night I smuggled my friend from high school, smuggled her into the drive-in for free in my trunk. And for the life of me, I can't believe I wasn't afraid to do it, because not only do you have to smuggle them in the trunk, when you get there, you have to open the trunk and have them pop out. And how did she pop out and I didn't get in trouble, that nobody's reported us, or or that security didn't see us or anything? And I do remember clunking her head with the trunk. I think I got a little panicked. She was getting out, and I said something to the effect, "Oh, wait," and didn't want her coming out right then, and it kind of put down the trunk lid. That was my 65 Mustang I drove around most of my young days. I had a 65 Mustang that I had bought. It was my first car in 1976 for $1,500. I paid half, and my dad paid the other half, and I paid him back, and at good times. And in fact, I should call Kathy on June 6th and say, "Do you know what today is? It's National Drive-In Movie Day. You have any memories?" I'm sure she'll remember right off. And I still can't believe she didn't have like a headache or a bump or anything on her head from the roof of the trunk clunking down on her head, because I heard it. Like, it was such an obvious clunk. Like, I could almost feel the pain. But I know we just went on with the night. And I really cannot believe I got away with it, or that I even did it, because I really think things out, and can't believe I didn't think out the consequences of, like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen when I have to get her out of the trunk. And I'm guessing the experts would have done it differently, where the back seats were removed or pushed down, so you didn't have to get out through the trunk. You would just crawl up front through the back seats and get in the back seat of the car. I don't know, but I know I would never try to ever do that again. I'd be too scared. Anyways, that's as spooky as my drive-in movie story gets. But then on the family side, with my siblings, this was in the 60s. I think we went to every single Walt Disney movie that came out. I remember the Swiss Family Robinson, the drive-in. I remember just Mary Poppins, just a spoonful of sugar lady, Mary Poppins. I even think we saw, what's the boy with the animal? Jungle Book. I'm almost positive we saw Jungle Book there. And do you guys remember the Gnome-mobile with Walter Brennan? I'm positive we saw that there on the Gnome-mobile. And the cool part about Walter Brennan is I knew him as a very familiar actor as a young person in the 60s and the 70s. It seemed like he was in all the movies we saw from Walt Disney. So in ninth grade, I switched schools. We go to high school, bigger than beans. Guess who's in my class? But Ruthie baby was the granddaughter of Walter Brennan. Unbelievable. And everybody knew it, and like nobody made a big deal about it. And then when I found out about it, I don't even know how I found out about it. And I said, "That's your grandpa?" Because I'm such a celebrity junkie anyways, like a movie star addict anyways. And remember the teen gossip magazines or the Hollywood magazines? I was like so addicted, it's not even funny. So nobody's like excited or overwhelmed or anything. It's like an everyday thing. I'm dumbfounded by it. What would I have been if I found another crazed celebrity, young person like myself? Like, what would have happened then? But so that's kind of a fun little trivia. What else have we seen there? I'm sure if I saw a list of the Walt Disney family movies from the 60s, it would jog my memory and I'd remember. And the big part I remember, though, they had a nice snack bar and they had a playground. My parents would never let us go to the playground. They would let us get a snack. But a lot of times they didn't let us go at intermission. It seems I remember more my dad would go when the movie was on. And then when it was intermission, they didn't want the crowds. And they didn't want us playing in the sandbox and in the playground and all that. So I kind of remember thinking we were robbed. But one snack bar run incident in particular was the time my dad went. and he got coffee, and he spilt the hot coffee all down the front of his pants, and it was his own fault. And he just kind of sat there, kind of squirming his way up, going, oh, hot, hot, hot. And I did feel bad for him. And I was kind of lucky none of us kids had dumped it over or caused him to make it fall, because we would have been in trouble big time. That's just the way it was back then. Someone would have got it. And so I don't even know how he fixed the problem. I don't even remember him opening the door and getting out or anything. And so then the rest of the night went on. I just remember feeling really bad for him. That he went through all that trouble. We got all our snacks, and he got his thing. He said it was back in to watch his movie, and then that happened. Let's see, what else? Then I do remember when the Simi Drive-In closed, or was in the process of closing. Somewhere I have some beautiful photographs that I had taken with my Minolta camera in the 70s. I do believe mid to late 70s it was, or maybe in the 80s. Maybe I had gotten married and went back to Simi to visit and saw that it was closed, and maybe took some pictures, possibly in the early 80s. I have to see if I can find the stats on the Simi Valley Drive-In. And I even drove up to the ticket booth, and there it was, just all unlocked, and there were old ticket stubs from who knows when, but it looks like, it just looked like the perfect little vintage booth. And I was in vintage antique heaven. I think I took like a 10 or 20, the tickets. Admit one ticket, and remember the booth, how it was just like stepping into the 60s. Like, this ticket booth really had to have been the original ticket booth in the 60s when the movie theater was first built. Let's see, what else? And then when I started driving, there was the Van Nuys. There were a couple drive-in theaters I went to in the valley. For some reason, I want to say Van Nuys. And like Chatsworth and Canoga Park. One I could see so well in my mind's eye. Just had a big, long, windy entrance with 5 or 6 lanes to get in, versus our Simi Valley entrance only had like just had 2 lanes to get in. And because me and Loretta were somewhat valley girls, though I didn't live in the valley. Loretta, once she graduated from high school, she had a apartment over in the valley, so Loretta could technically be called a valley girl for a few years. Though I never lived there, we spent so much time in the San Fernando Valley that sometimes we did feel like valley girls. Anyways, that was the only place you could go for real shopping, like at a shopping mall, because Simi Valley at the time had no mall. All we had for a good time was Kmart. Let's see, what else? So, I'm going to have to call Kathy, see if she remembers our drive-in movie escapades. I'm glad I still have my friends from high school. I still keep in touch with. Of course, Loretta and Kathy. I talk to her once or twice a year. And then my other friend Sue, we just spoke. Her dad just turned 90, and my brother had sent me something from Facebook. And after all these decades, I realized that her dad and my husband have the same birthday, and they've always had the same birthday all these decades, and I never knew it till just this year. So we got to catch up for a bit. And who else? I had another friend. We just reconnected after I guess it was like 20 or 30 years. Kind of lost track of each other. All their family moved all over, and we just lost track. But her brother had died, who was kind of like my little go-to boyfriend in high school, and that was the one who died. And their family and their friends made a big effort to hunt me down. They found my brother, and we reconnected. And I feel bad because I really enjoyed her, but I think we had a stress in the relationship because I was married, with just 30, almost 40 years of marriage, and kids, and work and life and retirement. I felt there was a disconnect there. It didn't work out for her. I guess she'd been married a couple times, and health wasn't the best for her, and she was collecting disability, and I could care less. I was having so much fun reconnecting with her and talking about things that we hadn't laughed about in forever. And but I noticed if I ever kind of talked about the kids or my husband, it was like I kind of built up a wall between us, and we got in a little tiff because Loretta had been out of town, then Loretta came back in town. So I was spending a lot of time on the phone with Loretta, and she kind of got upset. She says, "What's going on? You haven't called me all week." I said, "Well, I've been busy, and Loretta's back in town." And then she kind of said, "So, well, what does that mean? You can't talk to us both?" And I was kind of like so caught off guard, and I said, "Well, I only have so much time during the day." And I said, "Yeah, I guess I've just been catching up with Loretta." And she said, "Are you sure, or are you mad at me because of our last phone conversation where I said I felt there were spirits in the room?" And we did kind of have that at odds. And she believed in spooky spirits and spooky ghosts and spooky messages and dreams from spooky places. Like, what do you call? Oh, like can't think of the name now, but well, anyways, I totally did not. I don't give any credence or any thought to like a spook showing up or a shadow in the room and it's a spooky shadow or anything like that. I don't think about it, don't acknowledge it, and in my world it does not exist. Whereas in her world it did, and it was just a big part of her world. And then every time she got to talk about it, I said, there's no such thing as that. And she insisted that I was in a fight with her because of the last phone call she kept talking about some shadows or something. And can you believe she got so mad at me, and then we haven't spoken since. So, I kind of think she was really searching for a reason to just kind of break off the relationship, because she may have felt we didn't have that much in common, as our lives had taken a different path. But anyways, I just really feel bad about that, because we used to laugh and laugh and laugh about the dumbest things. Anyways, so there's my video for National Drive In Movie Day, June 6th. I'm not sure when this will be uploaded, before the 6th or on the 6th. I had my cereal for supper, cereal banana for supper, and story time. Reminder, if you enjoyed this video, to please push the thumbs up like button. Really appreciate